off of the field. I think there was a personal foul at one point, and they get the guy coming right off the field saying, "Hey, so what happened out there?" And he drops the F-bomb. I'm sorry. I appreciated the broadcast that they put together for the XFL.
I like the one time when, and I watched a little bit of most of the games. I think I might have seen a little bit of all four before I went over to the Tigers game. I watched that first game on Saturday with the D.C. team. But Jenny Taft was the reporter, and she's trying to interview a guy who just scored a touchdown. And the announcers in the booth are a little bit delayed because of a penalty, and they're waiting for the call from the. By the time they go to her, he goes, "I got to go." And he runs onto the field. I got to go in because my number's being called. And she's still trying to ask him the question. It was really cool. I thought there were a lot of good things. Eli rejoins me now. We're all set here at Dinstall's and ready to continue. But overall, I thought it was a real strong effort for the first weekend. And I thought the quality of football for the first weekend was pretty good. There wasn't tons of penalties and all these false starts and things of that nature. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought for the most part, I think they probably thought there would be a few more points scored. I mean, the whole league is set up at a faster pace for more points to be scored. And the fact that, two teams yesterday scored in single digits is not necessarily what they're looking for. But I thought what you're talking about with the broadcast, with the being on the field and getting interviews, yesterday you had Jordan Tomu being interviewed a couple different times coming right off the field after throwing a touchdown or whatever. So I thought it was all well done, and I think I saw the ratings for the first game were pretty good. I have not seen any ratings other than the first game. I didn't see anything for yesterday's or even the second game on Saturday, but I know the one for the first game was pretty good. So I assume they probably all did fairly well.
Yeah, I haven't seen the other ones. I did see that first one. Like you said, it was pretty good. By the way, I said, take the under. I think the unders, Gabe, ended up all four games went under, even though that first game I told you to bet the house.
That first one, that was close.
Ooh,
that was a close one.
It ended up with 50, and the spread, I think, was, well, not the spread, but the total was 50.5. I don't know how Vegas comes up with this when you have nothing to look at as far as any games having been played, and you're trying to put lines up there and totals, but they're good at what they do. So that one just went under.
We seem to have misjudged the Bob Stoops experiment here.
Well, but
didn't have Landry Jones.
Yeah, once Landry Jones was out of that game, I would have. Because I had picked Dallas. Me and you had both picked Dallas, Gabe. Once Landry Jones was out of that game,
how did we go with our picks?
There was no chance. And I bet
I was probably 0-4.
I bet against. No, Gabe, you were. Houston and New York both covered, right?
I think so. Yes, I have the scores here.
What was Houston's score?
Houston was 37-17. They won by 20.
Yes. Yeah, so they covered easily. And then New York covered easily.
They won by 20.
So you went 2-2.
Did I picked Dallas. I didn't pick my St. Louis Battlehawks.
No, you did.
What was I thinking?
I don't. It's.
I
picked Dallas. I assumed that Landry Jones was still going to play, but once he was out, I made sure I got money on St. Louis in that one. Should have took him on the money line. Let's see. Greg was 1-0. 1, 2, 3-1. LA's the only team, right? New York, St. Louis, DC, and I was I went 1-3.
Yet you still won money, real money on the XFL weekend.
Yeah, DC was I said the other day that I was going to pick one of these games to make as my bet. I wanted to bet on it. And DC, when I looked at everything, DC to me clearly was the best bet out there. And then yesterday, once I saw word that Landry Jones wasn't playing, I made sure I got money on St. Louis because I was like, man, I don't even know who that guy is that was playing quarterback for him. I'm like,
wasn't he like a model or something?
I don't care if Bob Stoops is the coach or not. Like I'm putting my money on St. Louis here with Jordan Tomu. Yeah, that was so that one ended up being real easy. I wish I would have taken him on the money line.
I took St. Louis even before I heard that news about Landry Jones. You were talking about it though. That was the possibility on Friday, but that guy was like some kind of a model or something. But anyway, listen, it's Monday rather. It's time for the good, bad, and ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
So good from the world of college basketball. We've talked about Duke and the coming back from 13 down in the final 4:31 to get the win over the arch rivals in North Carolina. Trey Jones with 2 key missed free throws. You don't often see that. You don't get the two key missed free throws, but the one he did on purpose, which was great because he did the way he should, just grab the ball, whip it up there before anybody even knows what's going on. The other one was not done on purpose, but just so happened they were able to get the offensive rebound and get the win out of that one.
And did you read where they work on certain angles? They expect the missed free throws to go a certain way. And I think it's John Shire, who's on Coach K's staff. They actually work on positioning themselves to be at that spot, and it worked out for them.
Well, and that one, the second. Are you talking about the second one?
I don't know. I just read that one of them.
The one he fired at the rim. That ain't judging any angles. That's just hoping it comes hard enough off the rim, which it did.
No, it must have been the other one. But in general, they say they work on those things, which shocked me. I didn't know that's even possible. They did that.
Kyra Lewis Jr. of Alabama, 37 points as Alabama beat Georgia 105-102. We're not seeing many of college basketball games where both teams are getting into triple digits.
And Georgia continues to blow leads.
Javon McCormick, game-winning shot for Auburn. Almost had a triple-double. It could have been a perfect day for him. He gets the game-winning shot as they beat LSU. Finishes with 23 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Not a bad day for Javon McCormick. I thought listen, you could have your opinions on him and his personality and everything else, but I thought it was cool to see Bobby Knight back at Indiana. I mean, that needed to be done. I thought it was cool. Everything else, I think I thought that was really good.
Look, I have it down as one of my goods. I know there are some people that don't like him, especially toward the end of his coaching career, who he became as a human being. He certainly wasn't a real friendly guy, but to have Isaiah Thomas and all these other former greats that were with him, and to be able to do this, I'm not saying Bobby Knight's dying tomorrow, but to be able to do this before he passes away, because it would be sad if he never returned to Assembly Hall.
Yeah, that was something that just needed to be done. 20 years. And the return of Bobby Knight, so I thought that was cool. The coolest thing from the world of college basketball on Saturday, though, was the BYU mascot dunk. Did you see the video of
Unbelievable.
that thing?
Unbelievable.
I still don't even.
I thought it was fake.
It's hard to believe that they were able to launch him that high.
I was looking at the video when I saw it to see if there was a trampoline. I thought they kind of pushed him off the trampoline. They just threw him up there from the 3-point line.
If you have not seen it, you've got to just Google BYU mascot dunk, and it's going to come up. I mean, they launched him from the 3-point line perfectly for him to then basically catch an alley-oop dunk. The BYU mascot is awesome. I love the BYU mascot, but that thing was that's next level. That was unbelievable.
Was that not absolutely terrifying, though?
Oh,
I mean, I wonder how many times they practiced it beforehand. So many things could go wrong.
Oh, I certainly would not think that, I don't care how many times you practice it, there's way too much that could go wrong. I did not think they would complete it. The fact that they were able to do it and got him far enough, he catches it, gets the dunk and everything else was absolutely amazing. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen a mascot do.
I'm with you.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., got to give him a good. Getting the pole at Daytona 500, local product, gets on the pole. That's nice.
And does so with a new team. His old team let him go at the end of last season. He joined a new team, which includes in ownership Brad Daugherty, the former NBA player, and he gets the pole for Sunday's Great American Race.
Just like Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the pole. Ja Morant gets the first career triple-double. Certainly that was good. And the Grizzlies already surpassing the over-under win total for the year. That made it easy on bettors.
26.5 in Vegas.
You already know you either got a win or a loss. Don't have to. There's no drama in this one. This one's locked up before the All-Star break as far as anybody betting on the Grizzlies. And then I mean he'll be here on Wednesday, but Damian Lillard had another 42-point game on Friday night. Yesterday was a measly 33, I believe it was.
Well, he was sick.
6 of his last 10 games, he's gone over 40 points. I mean, he is on a streak, so it'll be interesting to watch him go against Ja Morant on Wednesday down at FedEx Forum. And then I also got to give a good to that actually happened on Thursday, but the video, the LeBron James dunk, the copying Kobe's dunk, and watching the video that they put together that switches back and forth between them, that thing absolutely blows my mind, too. The BYU mascot dunk and that LeBron James, how much it is exactly like Kobe Bryant, blew my mind.
LeBron James is a student of the game. I guarantee you he studied that dunk, and he knew if he had the opportunity, he was going to do that.
But he said he didn't. He said he didn't even think about it.
Bull.
He said he went he said he literally to the point where he took off. Like he wasn't thinking.
I don't buy it. I do not buy it. I think he looked at that thing. He knew what he wanted to do if he got that opportunity, and it was like you said. It was looking at the same dunk. How many years ago? 20 years ago? 19 years ago? 2001.
You're not taking LeBron at his word?
No, I'm not taking LeBron. I guarantee he looked back, and while the tragedy happened and going back, and he probably looked at some videotape and thought of ways to salute the fallen friend of his and the great player that he was. I think not only at the tribute that they did at the Staples Center where LeBron was great, I think LeBron also looked at another way to do it, and that was it. I mean, it was just too eerie. It was so perfect. All right, let me rattle through my goods. Again, John Morant, top of the list, is first of what will hopefully be many NBA triple-doubles, 27, 10, and 10. I give it good to Ole Miss. It hasn't been the greatest basketball season for Kermit Davis and company, but they won by 17 over Florida on Saturday at the Pavilion. The Duke game, go ahead.
Brian Tyree, by the way, player of the week in the SEC.
Shocking. He is such a good player. The Duke deal, again, it's a bad for North Carolina. It's a real good for Duke to pull that one out. The Bobby Knight tribute we just talked about. I thought, again, the XFL had a good first weekend. I give a good to Antonio Gibson and Patrick Taylor. Patrick Taylor was a guest of ours from the Super Bowl, both invited to the NFL Combine. So the Tigers will have two at the NFL Combine in Indy, which starts at the end of this month. I give a good to the Redskins. They're working to make Jennifer King the first full-time African-American female assistant coach. She was an intern for Ron Rivera in Carolina. He's trying to put her on the staff as an assistant coach. That is fantastic. I give a good, I guess, to the Red Sox, Dodgers, and Twins finally getting the trade done, where Mookie Betts ends up in Los Angeles.
It was a saga.
Man.
It was a battle, but then the Dodgers didn't do the trade with the Angels. That one ended up being called off. So it was a weird situation.
Yeah, so they still have Jock Peterson around on the roster who can mash you 40 home runs. I give a good, as you said, to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to win the pole, Olive Branch's own. He'll be on the pole for the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Nick Taylor went wire to wire, I believe, right? He had the lead to start on Thursday and ends up winning the Pebble Beach. I didn't even look to make sure he definitely won at the end. He had the lead, right? Nick Taylor did win.
He won by like 5 or 6.
Yeah, so he ends up winning and going wire to wire. And I give a good and a bad in the same sentence with what happened at the UFC and the light heavyweight title fight with John Jones and Dominic Reyes. I give a good because it was a great fight. It went the distance, 5 rounds. But I give a bad because of the controversy. Many believe that Dominic Reyes, who came in undefeated, actually beat John Jones, considered the greatest MMA fighter ever. So we got a little controversy, not surprising, with the MMA. All right, bads?
Bad, certainly the Memphis loss, losing at home to a team under 500. Free throw shooting, bad free throw shooting reared its ugly head again at 13 of 22. Just a really bad loss at a time that they could not afford it. The refs missing the obvious goaltend on Rudy Gobert on Friday night that would have tied up that game. Now, that ends up benefiting the Grizzlies because it hurt Portland, hurt their chances, that prevented them from having a chance to win that game because that would have tied it up on the Damian Lillard layup, but the refs missed it, and Utah gets that win. While the XFL football was good, listen, Vegas is really good, and maybe it still turns out this way. Again, Landry Jones didn't play. But the two teams with the best odds to win the championship in the XFL were Dallas and Tampa. They scored a combined 12 points.
Yeah.
They were the two.
Not good.
They were the two worst teams by far over the weekend. So maybe they have to re-examine the odds for the championship in the XFL. But that was
too much love for Stoops.
Ugly day for Dallas and Tampa. There's no doubt about that. But Dallas was much better than Tampa. Tampa only got 3 points. Again, in a game that is suited, like with the 25-second play clock, everything else, like they want points to be scored. When you only score 3 points in an XFL game, you got some issues.
And Bears fans were like, come on. Mark Trestman, come on.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then I also have to give a bad to Marcus Smart. Did you see the flop?
No.
Oh, man. It's just Google Marcus Smart flop, and you would have thought, like, he got bumped trying to drive down the lane, and you would have thought, like, ran into a hand grenade. He like jumps up in the air backwards. Like he like risked injuring himself. He went so bad. It was crazy how he reacted to this bump. It's hilarious because it's like really late afterwards too, and he just jumps flailing in the air backwards. I love a guy with the good flop that is just so bad.
There was a bad one in the Memphis game by USF that people took issue with. My bads again. The Tigers losing that game, out rebounded 41-29, and then Achua Thomas get hurt. Dandridge already missed the game. We'll see what happens after Penny meets the media. Well, at least his coach's show tonight. He'll meet the media here in the next day or so and talk about those injuries, hopefully give us an update. Wichita State getting beaten by Houston 76-43 on Sunday. The Grizzlies, I give a good for what they did yesterday, but I give a bad for their three-point shooting. They were 5 of 32 versus the Wizards, which is 15.6%. Their last two games, they're 10 of 53. And they also went 3 of 17 versus Detroit. So 3 of their last 4 games, they've really shot the ball horribly from deep. And when you play some teams that are really good, you're going to lose. They played a pretty good game team in Philadelphia, and especially when you play them in Philly, and they lost on Friday. So the three-point shooting, which has been pretty solid all year long, needs to be better. Portland, you already talked about Dame Lillard, and the Trailblazers are getting screwed. Ricky Walker of the Tampa Bay Vipers, the first player to be ejected from an XFL game, the new XFL, as he threw a punch. And then I'm all for gambling, so don't get me wrong, but I thought it was kind of a bad look for Dan Snyder to be lobbying for sports betting in Virginia. He's the owner of the Washington Redskins. Any uglies? I just think it's weird, the owner of a sports team lobbying for betting.
It's good. Maybe that's a sign that more and more the NFL will pull their head out of the sand about betting.
I know, but just do it. You can be pro, but just the lobbying part kind of bothers me a little bit. All right, you got any uglies?
Well, the one ugly, because we now can add another player who is expected to be a top draft pick who is not going to play the rest of the year, is Tyrese Halliburton of Iowa State. Suffered a wrist fracture near the end of their game, first half of their game Saturday against Kansas State, so he is out for the rest of the year. So now, and he's like top 5, certainly top 10 guy. So you got no James Wiseman in college basketball. You've got no Ball.
And no R.J. Hampton.
R.J. Hampton. Now Tyrese Halliburton is out. The draft is going to be a bunch of guys. Everybody's going to be like, wait, I didn't see them playing the NCAA tournament this year. No, yeah, because none of them are playing in the NCAA tournament.
Is Anthony Edwards going to call it quit here soon?
Well, they're not going to be in the NCAA tournament.
Right, but will he shut down anyhow?
Literally, the top 10 draft picks, I'm not sure if any of them are going to be in the NCAA tournament this year.
My ugly SEC Network basketball analyst Barry Booker made a comment about a women's gymnastics meet that was coming up. They were promoting it on the broadcast, and he said, quote, "Go hang out with the ladies. I want to see some scantily clad girls."
Yeah, it was
stupid.
Richard Cross tried to help him out, but he couldn't. But that was that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say. Like you have to understand, like that is
especially in this day and age.
Completely
Come on.
Inappropriate to say that. In the SEC, Greg Sankey issued a statement. ESPN,
called the comments inappropriate.
Yeah, it was extremely tone deaf at the very least.
Speaking of the SEC, we're going to talk some SEC hoops when we return. Dane Bradshaw is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. Weekdays from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Did DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Don't that feel real funky, y'all?
What's up? We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, broadcasting live today from Dinstall's Fine Candies at 5280 Pleasant View Road. We will be followed by John Harden, then Wolo and Stats, and broadcasting all the shows live from Dinstall's. We'll be joined a little bit later on in this hour by Becky Dinstall, tell you more about what's going on today and at all their locations, not just here, but all their locations of Dinstall's Fine Candies as we get you set for Thanksgiving. We get you set for Valentine's Day on Friday, but right now we get you set to talk some SEC basketball. We do so with our buddy Dane Bradshaw, SEC Network basketball analyst, former Tennessee Vols and White Station High School standout. You can follow him on Twitter at Dane Bradshaw. Dane, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be back on with you.
Do I owe you a congratulations? I saw a photo, and I saw 4 children. Are they all 4? All 4 yours, or are there 3 in the neighbors? Do you got 4 kids now?
No, that's correct. It was Gosh, she's about a 6-month-old now, but I don't know if we've talked since then or not. But I'll take it. Yeah, we're a house of 6 right now, and Valentine's Day probably not looking as romantic as it used to be.
Well, congratulations. I may have said it before. If not, you're going to get another congratulations because you and your wife deserve it with 4 children. All right, my friend. Right now, I mean, this is a crazy NCAA basketball season. You would agree with that, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know what's happening in most of these conferences. I look, Gonzaga's really strong. San Diego State's strong, or are they? I mean, at least they are record-wise. But in the SEC, we saw Auburn pull one out of their hat against LSU. Finally, Kentucky went into Tennessee, your old neck of the woods, and won a game at Thompson Bowling, which they had not done for 4 straight times. Florida got waxed at Ole Miss. Is there a really, really good team in the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, I think Auburn, Kentucky, and LSU are really good for this year's standard of really good. I mean, that's kind of how you have to look at it, not last year or the year before. So, you know, and there's just so much turnover that's happened across the country, and nobody's been able to break out. And really, for a while there, you thought, all right, you want to pitch the parody and all that, but is that going to get boring to the average fan? But I've loved it this season, and the more it's gone on, the more interesting it's become for me, and to where now all of a sudden, you know, it's not the who's going to get the number 1 seed, because to me that part doesn't matter quite as much, because I think you could easily see, you know, seeds 5 through 8, you know, possibly be in the Final 4 when it's all said and done. And you know, the SEC is actually at this point doing a little bit better than I thought, because they got off to a really slow start in non-conference play. And in the past couple of years, that's when they've been able to do most of their work and get some breathing room to where they said, okay, we should be able to get, you know, anywhere from 5, 6, 7 teams in the league. Whereas entering conference play this year, there weren't very many impressive teams outside of Auburn, and then Kentucky had some growing pains. But now they've been able to beat up on each other a little bit in a good way, to where I think the SEC is going to have 5 teams in solidly, and then possibly a 6th or 7th as it comes down the stretch here with teams like Alabama trying to fight their way on the bubble.
Of Auburn and Kentucky, which one are you a bigger believer in?
Boy, good question. Probably Kentucky. You know, even though Auburn got the win, but, you know, Auburn's so great on their home court. Bruce Pearl always seems to be at his best against the best, and John Calipari and that rivalry there. But Kentucky just continues to get better as the season goes on traditionally. And so with their freshmen, I just think their freshmen grow so much typically from beginning of February to beginning of March. And that's something that you really truly can't grasp until it happens. But you can pretty much bet your money that they're going to get better. And, you know, they got the big man, Nick Richards, who I've been really impressed with. He was a guy that I was like, I'll believe it when I see it, because as I get an opportunity to call SEC Network games, I don't get an opportunity to call quality Kentucky games. So usually the Kentucky games I get are against, you know, some of the poor non-conference games that they have. And Nick Richards would always go off for like 20 and 10, and they'd say, "This is coming out party." I'm like, every time I see him do this, it's against guys that he's basically 6 inches taller than. So until he can do it against the best teams, I'm not going to be sold. And he's been able to do that now. And so I would give the upside to Kentucky there. And with Auburn, sort of a big question mark for me is just consistent guard play. The kid McCormick was a stud down the stretch. So was Samir Dowdy. But they've been inconsistent this year. And even though they have a big man themselves in Austin Wiley, Bruce Pearl's teams go as far as their guards can take them. And I struggle to wrap my or get around their consistency there.
You mentioned 5 teams that you think will make the tournament. Obviously, Kentucky, Auburn, LSU. The other 2, interesting, I would think Arkansas being one, at least at this point right now. It was a tough loss on the road. I know a road loss doesn't kill you, but they lost to a pretty average Mizzou team the other night. However, I think Eric Musselman's doing an outstanding job, and they're doing it without Isaiah Joe. So this is a really talented team, and I don't know what the prospects are of when he'll come back and if he'll come back. But that's a team that could make a run if they have their full arsenal. They could be really scary in the tournament.
Yeah, and they scout well. They have not had a bad loss, so to speak. There's always been close finishes where maybe they lose in overtime if it's guys fouling out or they've got injuries. But, the depth is an issue, and their size is an issue. They were always small, and they only went 7 deep. But they had quality players in those 7 guys, and they had a great identity. But now they lose a star in Isaiah Joe. And it's one of those teams where, and I've been there before. First year Bruce Pearl came to us, it was, it can be emotionally draining and sort of exhausting when you become the surprise team of the league. And all of a sudden the stadium's selling out and just the attention you're getting. And every time you win, it's big celebrations in the locker room. And all that stuff can kind of wear on you. And I think, you start peaking a little bit too early. And so despite the injury, that's always been my concern for Arkansas, just because I've lived it, is like, all right, they're when it comes down to the end of the season, they're just going to be needing to kind of hold on. Like, all right, can we hold on to our NCAA tournament resume and just, win the games we're supposed to win and maybe pick up 1 or 2 that we're not to. And I think they'll be stumbling into March, but because they had such a good non-conference, they didn't beat anybody great. They did win at Indiana, but they just took care of business, and they're well coached. And I think they're probably the one team in the SEC right now, other than those top ones you mentioned, that could maybe go 9-9 league play, maybe even 8-10, and finish 7th, 8th in the league, but still be one of those 5 teams that get in the tournament.
Wow.
Why do you think Florida hasn't been as good as people thought they would have been?
Yeah, it's amazing because you watch them on film and you sit there and you say, boy, they're strong at point guard. They've got shooters, they've got athletes, they got post play. And for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to put together a full 40 minutes. And I think a lot of that is yes, they are young. There's tons of sophomores and freshmen, and trying to get those guys to play together because they either all starred as freshmen on the team last year and they're in sophomore years, or they're McDonald's All-Americans last year and they're having to learn how to play a role, or they're graduate transfer Kerry Blackshear from Virginia Tech, who was a stud, comes in and all of a sudden maybe he's playing with a different system. And so it just has not clicked. And I thought they probably had the biggest loss, in my view, of the week last week, where they go on the road to Ole Miss and take a L there. And had they won that game, they'd be 7-3 and just one game out of first place. But instead, they're kind of scratching their heads and having to regroup again. But Blackshear's been good, but he hadn't been great. And I can't put that all on him. So there's also variables there, but he just hadn't finished great around the basket. And some of that might be a testament to the SEC and the quality of play, because this is the second year in a row now where a top player from a different conference is a graduate transfer. Last year was Reed Travis, coming out of the Pac-12 to Kentucky, was a good role player for Kentucky, but was not even an all-SEC player. And then Kerry Blackshear, coming from the ACC and the top graduate transfer prospects in the country, comes to the SEC. He's doing good, but not great. And so some of that's the hype and expectations, but Florida needs to get it together and do so in a hurry.
Dane, I don't know what A&M's situation is with recruiting, but I really like Buzz Williams as a coach. So how quickly does he have A&M back in the tournament as the new head coach at A&M?
I would feel good about by year 3. I have been shocked at how well they're playing right now. I mean, I shouldn't say well they're playing. They just got beat by 20. But for them to have 5 conference wins right now, they're 5-5. And I had them in their conference opener at Arkansas, and they did enough to stay competitive. When I was watching the film and watching that game, I was like, boy, the cupboard's pretty bare here. I mean, they got a couple pieces, but, man, they are, if you're ever going to label a team as an overachiever, this would be it. And but he is what I love about Buzz Williams is the fact that he is playing a style of play that he's really never played before. He's adjusting to his team, and they're doing all they can just to stay in it, make it ugly, keep the game under 60, and then see if they can't pull out a 59-55 win. That's just, it might be a snooze fest and be boring, but then you look up and you realize, you just lost to A&M, who's, only 11-11 on the year. And so when I first saw them, I thought they'd be lucky to get 4 or 5 wins in conference play all year. So for them to already have that mark is really impressive, and I think speaks volumes of his program building.
All right, final thing, real quick. I'm assuming you probably, well, I can't assume this. Florida, you've had their games in the past. When Isaiah Stokes was with Florida, I'm not sure if he was hurt or you actually saw him play. Do you know what type of player Memphis is getting for next season?
Well, I really don't. I saw him practicing more, and he got a little bit of run, but it was always sort of a conditioning thing. You know, you saw the skill set that he could have, but it was until he could get himself in good enough shape to go up and down the court on offense and defense, you really didn't know what you had. So obviously a very physical guy, but I hadn't seen him too much in person where he's actually played valuable minutes for an extended period of time. But I will say this, you know, when it's all about guard play these days, and teams are even trying to go instead of 4 out 1 in, 5 out 0 in. What I'm starting to see is that you better have a big man in a post down low, because you look at the top 5 teams in the SEC right now. Auburn's got a big man in Austin Wiley. Kentucky, Nick Richards. LSU, Emmett Williams, and they got a bunch of bigs. Mississippi State, Reggie Perry. Florida, Kerry Blackshear. And so as the grind of the season goes on, you know, you might not have to rely on your big, but you better have one. And so I think it's important that Memphis, despite, you know, all the power that they have on the perimeter, have a guy like Isaiah Stokes, because you need a bruiser down low.
Dane, as always, really appreciated. SEC Network basketball analyst, former Tennessee and White Station standout, Dane Bradshaw. You can follow him on Twitter at Dane Bradshaw. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, Greg. Last quick thing, man. That all the hype with the Tennessee-Memphis game, that was going to be the game of the year. Now we're both trying to get on the bubble, man. Both programs crashing and clawing. So good luck to the Tigers, and we'll try to do the same in Knoxville.
Gotcha. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
If you want to watch any of the action when any teams are in the Tigers, Grizzlies, you can always check out all the games over at East Coast Wings and Grill with their many TVs that they've got there. I know they had the XFL games on all weekend long there. Folks in there watching that. Hey, football's football. And you get in there, you can enjoy great food and drinks while you're doing so at East Coast Wings and Grill. 60 different flavors of wings to choose from, all available in 7 different heat indexes. Today's Monday. That means it's wing day. That means you can get 75-cent bone-in wings, 65-cent boneless wings all day today at East Coast Wings and Grill. Go check them out just off Highway 64 next to the Lowe's in Bartlett. East Coast Wings and Grill.
All right, one more segment to go for us, then we'll hand things over to John Harden. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3. Here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Treat your special someone to a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse. In addition to the full menu, the Butcher Shop is offering their famous Dinner for Two special all weekend long, February 14th, 15th, and 16th. Start the evening with a glass of house wine, champagne, or beer. Share an appetizer of spinach and artichoke dip or Cajun sautéed shrimp. Choose from 6 delicious entrees: 7-ounce filet mignon, 14-ounce New York strip, 14-ounce ribeye, fresh Atlantic salmon, char-grilled chicken breast, or grilled lobster tail. Each entree includes a fresh garden or Caesar salad, baked potato, and hot bread. Each guest enjoys a homemade dessert, New York cheesecake, or chocolate thunder brownie. Your choice of soda, tea, or coffee completes the meal. all for $99.50 plus tax and gratuity per couple. For reservations, call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or for more information, visit thebutchershop.com.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Some people call me the space cowboy.
So I don't want to count up how many samples I've had because I don't know what that would equate to. Probably a couple of boxes of candies, but it is a treat to be back here for another year as Valentine's Day is Friday, and Becky Dinstel joins us now. And thanks again for having us out here.
Well, we are so delighted to welcome you again. And I kind of feel like this is a part of our Valentine is for y'all to be here.
That's right.
It wouldn't be the same.
Well, it certainly is part of ours, because I need to make sure we get plenty of this in my system around Valentine's Day.
And you've added another store to your stable.
Yes, we just last week opened a new store downtown Memphis. We're right on Main Street at Peabody Place, next door to the Majestic Grill. So easy access. You can walk, you can drive your car, you can ride your bike, you can ride the trolley, or you can ride a scooter. So you can get there many different ways.
It's been a while since I've been on a scooter.
Well, there are plenty of scooter options, that's for sure. You can find a scooter downtown these days without a problem. So that's cool too. You got the eastern part of everything covered. Now you add the one downtown. That's got to be exciting down there.
It is very exciting. Our goal is to be able to service the residential community, the business community, and the tourism.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lot of items to offer tourists who are wanting to take a little sweet taste of Memphis back home.
You have so many great things to choose from, but you're also known for the chocolate-covered strawberries. And so you've launched that season. You're going to start dipping tomorrow morning. Explain to everybody what they need to do if they want to get a box or two of chocolate-covered strawberries for Friday.
Well, we're going to be making them beginning tomorrow. We'll be making them every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we recommend, even though we hope to have plenty for everyone, just to reserve your box. Give us a call at your favorite location that you would like to pick them up, and we will reserve a box for you, or however many boxes you might need. Each box is going to contain, the berries are running probably about 8 to 9 per box, but we guarantee a no less than 6 per box, because sometimes the berries run a little bit large. But I think this particular dipping, they'll run 8 to 9 pieces per box.
And again, we want to remind folks that throughout the day today, up until 6 o'clock, when we're done broadcasting here, at any of your locations, they can get the 14% off.
Absolutely. Just go in and say, hey, I heard you on the radio, Sports 56. They're talking about you. So we will be happy to extend, for a purchase of $14 or more, you get a 14% discount.
You also ship. I know that personally because every year we ship something to my daughter. Talk about how people can do that.
You can place your order either in person or you can phone your order in. You can even do it online. And we will ship anywhere within the continental United States. If you get your order in today, we can hopefully ship it ground. If it's later, then we might need to do express FedEx, but we'll get it for you, just, pack it just like you'd like it. Even the strawberries can be shipped. So give us a call now, get those orders placed so we make sure we get your special Valentine treats in time.
And what's the website, excuse me, Eli?
It's dinstals.com.
You were telling me a little bit earlier that you were able to take care of Celine Dion and her crew last night.
Really?
Yeah, we had a very nice request. They needed a chocolate fountain, so we jumped to the rescue and did a beautiful chocolate fountain for her cast and crew and fans and some of the family that they are traveling with. And they loved our chocolate. Many of the cast and crew were from Sweden, and they said they had never tasted chocolate like this before. So
have you done that for stars that have come to Memphis to perform before?
Well, we do a lot of backstage gifts for a lot of the celebrities that are coming in. But this was our first time to have the request of the chocolate fountain, so that was kind of cool.
That is fantastic.
I see. I guess if I was looking for a chocolate fountain, you'd be the one to call. Like, I don't know who else I would call for a chocolate fountain. Like,
yeah, you're not calling Pep Boys for that. You're calling Becky.
Let me tell you, this chocolate fountain is 6 feet tall.
Oh my gosh,
that's a lot of chocolate.
It's a lot of chocolate.
I could swim in that fountain.
And you may want to. Becky, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Again, we're going to be out here with the rest of the shows all day long, all the way up until 6 o'clock. And it is an annual thing, and we love it. We appreciate it.
Well, we love having you. Happy Valentine's, everybody.
Happy Valentine's to you too, Becky.
Thank you, Becky. Before we get out here, I want to remind folks, come by this location here at Pleasant View, and you can register to win. Also, we got these free samples, which are great, but you could register to win, giving away a 1 pound heart-shaped box of their assorted chocolates and one of the 1 pound boxes of the chocolate-covered strawberries. Going to be picked up any day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You make that choice. Plus, we have 3 $50 Gould's gift certificates that Wolo and Stats will be drawing for a little later today. So you still got plenty of time to get on out here, try some samples, register to win, get your order in, whether it's the strawberries or whatever, and save 14% off of any purchase of $14 more. And again, that offer is good at any of the locations, but to win the prizes, to register to win, you do have to come here to Pleasant View.
And the samples are here, and the Sports 56 T-shirts are here, and all the talent from Sports 56 is here as well. We're just about out of time. I did want to mention this. It was something we were keeping an eye on. The Mountain West has reversed its decision, ending Boise State's extra revenue and future deals in exchange for the Broncos dropping their legal complaint. So there was a deal where the Mountain West tried to reverse their agreement with Boise State. Boise State would have started to possibly look elsewhere, maybe the American Conference, but the Mountain West has done the old reversal, and now it looks like everything is status quo, and both are fine with the deal, and it looks like Boise State will be planted where they are right now in the Mountain West.
Also, it became official. The Chargers and Phillip Rivers have mutually agreed to part ways. So Phillip Rivers will not be playing for the Chargers next year. We will see where he ends up.
Yes, 16 years with the Chargers. He's 38 years of age. Our thanks to Clayton Collier and Dane Bradshaw for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow we are back in studio. Don Wade will join us for the dish. Steve Macy from the University of Memphis, and all kinds of other great things. Stay tuned.
The stars are arriving now.
Oh, my gosh. Harold Bird.
At least he can't heckle us. At least we're getting off the air so he can't heckle us.
I don't know. He's starting to heckle now. He's starting to heckle. John Harden's coming up next for Gabe Kuhn and Eli Savoie. I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the